I was in Costa Rica and I almost got eaten by a crocodile. And in that same day, I got followed by 50 taxi drivers. We got in a fight with a few of them. They destroyed our car. Every system screws the 98% so the 2% can benefit. I'm not scared of going back to broke. I've been there. I know I can get out of it. I was getting sued every single month.
You ever go to court?
No, I was in Japan.
All right, what's going on, guys? And welcome to this episode of the Mogul Insider Podcast. It's your host with the beautiful gentleman that I got over here. And today we got two really cool announcements. Number one, I don't know who this guy is, so we'll get into that. But number two, we got a new microphone setup, which is super, super cool. So if we're like playing with the microphone throughout the episode, just excuse us because we're literally getting used to this. It's kind of weird. But Jan, my man, thank you so much for hopping on the show, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bro, this is like, I'm so glad we got this finally set. I've known you for, how long have I known you for now, man?
Probably 4 years now.
Yeah, time flies. And when I met you, you were first starting, kind of you were like, you've been building, you were in that momentum. I've seen you've been like really successful with your businesses, bro. Like massive congrats on that. That's freaking
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
So for everybody that's watching, my boy Jan is into, credit hacks, travel hacking, all sorts of fun stuff. You want to give us a quick rundown? I know you have a lot of content online, but we'd love some like a quick 30-second rundown on like what you do, and we'll get started.
My name is Jan. I go by King Credit on Instagram. That's my main platform where everybody can find me. And I'm the credit and travel hacking king. I travel the world, 53 countries so far by the age of 29. And I'm the credit king as well, leveraging credit to make money, live a better life. And if you go look at my IG, you'll see exactly what I mean.
Yeah. So, dude, it's and by the way, guys, hop in whenever, all right? Like, feel free to just intrude.
I actually have a question, pretty important. Why are you so red?
Dude, I don't.
I woke up this morning, had to take my Ferrari down to OC, took the roof off, and we never slowed down for me to put it back on.
Oh,
so 2 hours, I was getting sun beamed straight in my face. And then we went out to the desert shooting for 4 hours, sun beaming on my face. No sunscreen because that's a scam. And
sunscreen's a scam.
Sunscreen's a
Now
scam.
I'm
You
here.
heard it
That's
first.
funny.
Now I'm
Dude,
here.
that's such like a first world problem type of day. Think about it.
Yeah.
He was like, man, I got burnt with my Ferrari. Is your Ferrari more red or is your face more red?
my Ferrari's more red.
Are you sure?
That's kind of cool though. Like your skin matches the Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? Like just boom,
almost.
boom.
Yeah,
I like that.
it
It's like,
fits,
oh
man.
my god, I hate living in Orange County because I just get red all the time from all the beautiful sun.
That's hilarious. So I think what you do is pretty interesting, man, because you've kind of built a business around a lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah, and from your story, we all know you were like in debt. You
Yes.
had you owed a lot of money to a lot of people.
$82,000. Yep.
Which is crazy. And now you're doing well over, multiple six-figure months. Massive congrats on that, dude. And it's like really cool to see that like come up, especially in a lifestyle business, in the sense of like you're still living a really good life. I mean, 52 countries, you said?
53 now, yeah.
53. That's freaking crazy. Like, what a dope-ass resume. I mean, I could barely say I've traveled to maybe 5. I don't even. What got you to, like, what was that initial, aside from the fact that you needed money and you were, like, desperate to make money, where was that initial shift where you realized, like, hey, I can actually make a living out of just having a shit ton of fun?
Yeah. So when I was getting out of debt and I was kind of getting my business started, I got a sales job. That's one thing that changed everything for me because one, I was in 82 G's worth of debt, and two, I had no idea how anything worked. I got out of college, I had 2 degrees. I had a business degree, so finance degree, and a marketing degree. And I thought, man, I'm gonna get any job I want. I go apply to banks, I go apply to finance companies.
Wrong.
Nobody even got back to me.
Nobody gives a crap.
Nobody even got back to me. So I realized, okay, I'm going to go start a couple businesses. I had a bunch of credit cards because of travel hacking. You need a bunch of credit cards to get points and statuses and whatnot. So I had a bunch of credit cards with limits on them. I'm like, I'm going to go use them to go start a business. I ran up my debt to $83,000 or 82 grand. Nothing worked.
So before we move on, I want to stick in that mindset for a sec, man. Because, nobody in their right mind would do that. Right? Like the regular average individual isn't going to go, you know what? I got a lot of credit cards. Let's just max them out. Right? So like When you first started, did you know you were gonna go 82K in debt? And then when it started to rack up, what made you keep going? Like, what was like the motivation?
A bit of a ego issue. I thought I was so good and so smart that if I go and do 5 businesses, they're gonna work. So I'm like, 82 G's, who cares? It's gonna work.
Yeah.
That's also the mindset you need to actually make something work.
100%. I agree.
But I'll say that when you don't have skills, no information, no experience, it's not gonna work. What are the chances of that working? Maybe. But I'm doing 5 things at once. I'm giving 20% of my attention to this thing, that thing, this thing. It's not gonna work. So I got into debt and I realized, okay, I need a skill, I got a sales job. That's when everything really turned. And to your question, when did I realize I can make money from a lifestyle business? 6 months into my sales job, when I got my credit on point, I was learning credit for 6 months. Getting out of debt, fixing my credit, it was at a 490. So 6 months in,
Sheesh.
it was bad.
82K in debt.
I was getting sued every
490.
single month.
Do you ever go to court?
No, I was in Japan.
He was adding on to his list of countries, bro. He's like, oh, what? No, the lawsuit? No,
He's like, I need more countries than lawsuits now.
My situation was so bad. I've talked about this before, but it was so bad that I just left the country because I didn't want to deal with it.
Really?
I didn't want to deal with it.
That was your solution.
I thought I had to go back to Russia because my situation was so bad. I fucked it up in the U.S. I'm from Russia. I got family there. I'm like, you know what? I'll just file bankruptcy, back to Russia. That was like one of my thoughts in my head. I'm like, it's getting so bad. I'm realizing it's so bad. I'm making 2 G's a month at this time.
And you're 82K in debt.
And I'm paying $4,000 in interest to keep the debt at the same place. There's no way out of that situation unless you do something different.
So, dude, I find that to be so interesting because, you know, people like in situations like that, they get so emotionally caught up with what's going on. I feel like they go through paralysis where they don't know how to get out of it. And so they just don't do anything and it just kind of sits there like, and they just ignore it. It takes a lot of emotional, in my opinion, energy and control to be able to like look at that and go, okay, I need to get myself out of this situation. Here's how I'm going to do it. And here's what's going to happen.
It had to get so bad for me to realize, okay, I can't get out of it doing what I'm doing right now. Something has to change. There's a reason why I couldn't make these businesses work. There's a reason why I'm only getting further into debt. There's a reason why my credit is going in the gutter and it's not improving. I don't have the skills. I don't have the experience. I don't understand how credit works. I'm running up my personal cards. My credit score is tanking. I'm doing 5 things at once. How are people making millions that are teaching these courses that I'm buying? No.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Parents, I'd like to go back to that. So you were born in Russia?
Moscow.
Nice. Very cool. And how long did you live there for?
Until I was 6. And then me and my mom moved out to the U.S.
I see. So and parents aren't entrepreneurs.
Pops is.
Pops is.
Yes.
Okay. So when you were like, you know, being raised, were you taught the idea of business and financial management and all that kind of stuff? Or
No.
not really?
No, because we started talking when I was 18.
Oh, okay. So parents have been divorced and he wasn't in your life.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Snaps. That's crazy. And how much of a effect do you think? Everything good?
Very close for you.
Oh, all right, for sure.
That
Sorry.
was mine.
No, you're good. You just need to face it more towards you. Sorry
Like-
to cut you out.
No, you're good. You're good, man. You got some technical issues.
Can you pull it up?
I got it.
Yeah, the cord is just too tight.
How's the visual?
Visual looks great.
Good? Cool.
No, we're good. You know what? I kind of like to put these still in the episode. It kind of shows the raw
Yeah, for
side
sure.
of it, you know? Good like that? All right, dope. What was I saying? I was saying something
You're
about
saying-
parents.
Parents
Yeah.
entrepreneurial.
Yeah. So, how much of... I'm going to go deep. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Because I love, like, the
Go
psychology
ahead.
of people
Yeah.
like you know? How much of the father not being in your life and the mother relying on you had how is that affecting you when you're looking at that $82,000 credit and you're like, what have I gotten myself into? Was your mother in your life at the time? Your dad? How is that kind of affecting you as you went through this whole journey?
The whole journey, I was already speaking to my dad. And I moved here with my mom, and she got remarried to my stepdad. We all have a very good relationship. But when it comes to the money, I didn't even tell them I was in this situation.
They had no idea.
They had no clue that I was in $82,000 worth of debt. I always kept a straight face. Any situation that I was in, nobody knew that I was in the situation. I kept it to myself. I didn't tell anybody about it. I just wanted to leave it up to myself to get out of the situation and not pull anybody else into it. That was my mentality.
Typical masculine solution.
You know what's crazy about this whole story of like, I noticed is you had no skill regarding like those 5 businesses, and that's why they maybe failed and so on. But then like you're trying to look with $82 in debt, and you're like, man, how can I-
82,000.
I'm sorry.
No, $82.
$82. A gas tank.
82K, my fault. But $82K in debt, and you're like, man, I know nothing about credit. I think, and then for you to be now considered on your Instagram handle being the king of credit, or the king credit, right?
King credit.
That's amazing. From like that transition, that was possibly, I think you getting into debt was possibly like a blessing in disguise, because that was like your calling.
I call it a blessing in disguise, and I feel like anybody that's an expert at anything or really good at something, they had to go through some life-changing event, something big
For sure.
to trigger them to
For
go and
sure.
focus all of their energy on that craft. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe it's a business venture. Maybe it's a guy that lost his hearing, and that's why he went into a hearing aid business to help people, because there's an emotional attachment to that thing. He knows how much he's helping people. For me, that was credit. I got into such a bad situation, and I realized so many people are not taught credit. They're not taught taxes. They're not taught anything that resulted in me getting into that situation of 82 grand in debt. And if I got into it, how smart I am, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm the smartest motherfucker ever. If I got into it, more people are probably into it. There's trillions of dollars
You're not alone.
in credit card debt, student debt, and people don't know how bad their situation is, how bad of a situation they can get into. And there's the same reason of why can't somebody get a loan to start a business, but they can easily get a loan for student debt easily.
Yeah, I think that's crazy.
One, it's guaranteed by the federal government. Two, they know it's tied to you for life. You ain't getting out of it.
There's no bankruptcy that you can file that will get you out of that.
You're stuck with it.
Yeah.
Unless you know credit repair and you can remove it off of your credit profile.
Really?
It doesn't get rid of the debt, but it gets rid of it on your credit profile. Improving your credit profile.
Interesting. So you're at what is potentially your lowest point in life, right? Somebody right now could be listening and they could be like, that's literally me right now. Stuck in debt, they don't know where to go, they have zero direction. What was your first step? What was the one thing that you started with that completely projected you into the direction that you're in now?
I stopped doing all these 5 businesses. I realized I needed a skill. That skill had to be something that people make a lot of money with. Sales or marketing. I knew sales was something I can get into more. I felt like I had some sort of sales skills. I've been trying it. And luckily I fell into an opportunity with a crypto company to sell placements on their exchange for either marketing or coin listings. And I started making money like this, maybe 8K, 10K per month. And this is how I made my first money. But more importantly, I got sales experience. I got a network of startup founders, people that are starting their companies. And I was always looking at how are they running their business? How are they hiring employees? How are they motivating their team? I wasn't thinking, how can I make $2,000 more and that's it? I'm thinking, how are they doing the company, the employees, everything that I could possibly learn, and how can I better my relationships with all of these people? Those people became my first clients when I started my credit business.
Oh, that's awesome. That's freaking sick, man.
So you analyze the person's skill, not their net worth. So basically, the skill that they use to get them there, you analyze that. Like, this person is very, very good at marketing. This other person is a killer on like cold calls and so on. Let me focus on that because of those specific traits that are unique to him. Those are the reasons why this person's making X amount of $1 million a year and so on. So I like that. I like how you basically focus not on their value or the amount of money that they're making, but basically the amount of like skill that one person has, the monetary amount of that skill.
Yeah,
There's a reason somebody's making the money that they're making. It's not just it fell on them for no reason.
It's crazy because those people make it seem like they were just born into it. It's so easy.
That's how it should be. If you're a professional, you look at a figure skater, it seems like it's so easy.
Yeah.
But you don't see the work that they put into it, years and years, decades of work to become a professional figure skater to make it look so easy.
So-
Same with basketball. Same with anything.
So, quick question. So, how quickly did you transition from being like, all right, how can I be the best salesman, to transitioning into how can I develop the best sales team? How quickly was that switch?
Rewind. So I was a salesperson for the company. I never built a sales team with that company.
Oh, I see.
I was simply a salesperson,
Uh-huh.
and I transitioned into my business before I even built a team. I built the team later with my business, but my team was still small. I've got less than 10 people on my team full time.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And,
Dude.
we're
You're running lean.
very lean, and I don't think you need many people.
that's pretty cool, dude.
You need killers. That's
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
A players, baby.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so this is an interesting conversation to have. So you get into business. Initially, all amateurs assume it to be a certain way. A lot of people, I'm sure, even you went through a phase where you're like, oh, I can make money easier. I can do this easy. I can do that easy. Looking back at the Jan, was it like what 5, 7 years ago, 10 years ago? How long has this been
Since what?
since this whole debt issue and since your
I
beginning?
was
of the story?
22, 23 in debt.
Okay,
so I
so-
just came out of college, took a year, tried to start businesses, and that's when I was in 82K worth of debt.
So 6 years. So you're like 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, so I was in 82K worth of debt at 22, made my first million at 25.
Hell yeah, bro. That's awesome. So my thing is like looking back, what were the misconceptions that you thought business was versus what it turned out to be? Like if you were to look back and ask the Jan back then and go, hey man, like what are your thoughts on business? This is the things that you're going to go through. This is the things that you're going to have to expect. And yeah, you might be assuming it to be this way, but actually you find out down the road that it's not. I feel like I went through a lot of that where like you go through phases and you're like, oh, whoa, I used to do this completely wrong. What
Yeah.
were like, if you were to list them for me, those like really big shifts in, building your team and scaling it?
I mean, there's one thing that covers all of these, which is it requires significantly more volume to be successful in any aspect of business.
I love that you said that. I love that
Hiring
you said
employees.
that. I love that you said that. Yes.
Your first employee may seem like the best one, but you got to understand, put volume into finding the best person. Put volume into your content.
Yeah.
When I was starting my content, I had lives on IG. I had 2 people listening. I was so stoked that 2 people were listening because I knew I had to put volume in the beginning. I knew nobody was going to listen to me no matter what I said. I could be controversial. I could bring an incredible amount of value. If I don't put volume into something that I do, everything that I do, it's not going to be successful. And I didn't understand this in the beginning. I thought people are just running multi-million-dollar companies and they're just successful.
That's just how it is.
Just how it is. They put a little bit of work into it. It wasn't like depressing days. Do I quit? Am I in the right direction? My family's saying don't do this. You're not giving me enough attention. I'm going to leave you, this and that, breakups, whatever the situation might be. Almost every single person that has any serious level of success, they've gone through it. I've gone through it. You've gone through it. You guys have probably gone through it. Everybody's gone through it.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't understand. I didn't go through enough pain in the beginning to get to this level.
I love that you said exactly that because remember when we first started the agency, what did I tell you guys? I repeatedly said I said one thing. I said the amount of whatever you're expecting to do, the work you're going to do, put at least 50x that more. Because that was such a huge lesson that I learned going through this is the sheer amount of volume and work and effort it actually takes. And that's another thing why I think like professionals make it seem so nonchalant is because it's so much energy that they put into their day-to-day life that when somebody randomly comes and asks them like, hey, can you tell me about how you made millions? It's like, what am I going to sit down with you and just write for you every goddamn thing that I did in the past 6 years? Like, I don't really know how to answer that question, And so they just nonchalantly say, just save money, work hard.
Hard work,
Yeah.
dedication.
Yeah, the basic stuff,
No, it's funny because you always talk to like, the highest level people that you meet or you listen to online or whatever. And they literally just summarize into like the same few words, hard work, dedication, volume output and this and that. It literally just comes down to like, you don't know the details of the formula, but you have the big picture.
But here's what I'll also say. If you just come at it not knowing anything about business that you're going to be successful, you got to kind of have that mindset like, I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to assume it's going to be kind of easy, kind of simple. I'm going to make it work. And then learn through the process that, okay, it takes a lot of volume to be successful. Maybe a lot of people that go into it thinking, this is so much work I've never done before. It's going to be too difficult. Maybe that stops you from doing it. You got to go with a mindset like, it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
Sometimes I think you have to be a little bit of like you need to be naive to a certain point of just going with the flow.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you haven't experienced all of it, and once you do, you understand. And then you can make it flow, build a team, do the marketing, understand it takes a lot of volume.
I also think, though, if I'm being honest, aside from just the volume, it's also the fact that, like, the risk, how much, like, you're able to handle risk. I meet so many business owners, and they've been running their business for years. Like, you meet so many people who are like, yeah, I've been in business for 20 years. How much money do you make? $300,000 a year. I'm like, what? Like, that's not a business, bro. You're an employee. Like, you know, you employed yourself. Congrats, you know? Or even, like, I meet so many business owners that have been running for, like, 3 decades, and their company's at $2 million, $3 million. And I noticed, and I'm sure you could touch base on this. I'd love for you, because you just bought $1 million worth of cars.
Yeah, $1 million for the cars.
Which, you know, I would assume, you know what? Obviously, we're not going to throw out how much money your company's making stuff, but people just guess. Assume in the comments below how much money this guy's making per month for him to go buy $1 million worth. I'm going to actually shoot you guys a question. How much money do you have to be making per month for you to go buy $1 million worth of cars? Your answer will show how much you're, like, the difference in his risk versus what you could take.
Right.
How much money do you think you have to be making?
Like
Per month?
per month.
Yeah.
For how long?
Just whatever. Just like your business just does that every single month consistently.
I think if your business is making like a cool casual, I don't know, like 600 to $1 million
A month.
a month.
Yeah.
Net.
Because no, we're talking
Net
gross.
or gross? Okay.
Gross.
Let's talk net.
If
Because
we're-
gross could be $600K and $1 profit.
Right,
Or
right.
you could be at a
100%.
loss.
100%. Dang, I've no idea. To casually buy $1 million worth of cars, I genuinely don't know.
What about you, Malik? What do you think?
Yeah, my guess would be probably like
No, like for you, like like you imagine you had that company. How much money does Malik have to be taking home for him to justify $1 million in cars?
Oh, see now why he get a different question than me?
Because I don't care about you.
taking home a month. To comfortably afford it with all my expenses and bills, I'd probably say about like $500,000.
What are your expenses?
Assuming that like, well, I said $500,000 is in like a year, but breaking
year?
it down, I'd probably say like 200 basically. to
No
answer it.
ambition, dude.
Wait, $500,000 a year to afford $1 million in cars? How are you gonna do that, dude?
I'd say like you'd have to live an interesting
4
life.
years.
Yeah,
You'd have to
you saving up for a decade or something, or
You'd
what?
have to live for that car basically. But I think to answer that question at the end of the day, I think about like 200K
a month, take home.
Sure.
Yeah. So you know what I find interesting about what you do, man? I've watched you for the past years and grown. I love your journey because I think it's so legit how you stayed focused on one thing. You know,
Yep.
There's a lot of people that become experts of nothing because they get into so many different things because this makes money or that makes money or look at that golden
jump
egg.
around.
They jump around because it's sexy and attractive. You stayed on that game forever, ever since I've met you. And I think it's interesting because your way of justifying investments is so different than like, you know, any other person you might ask. And I think that plus what you just said about the volume is the sheer reason to why you are where you're at right now. Would you agree with me on that, or like, or how? What did you see?
I would tell you this: the reason why my whole business is around credit is because I've gone through such a fucked up situation with credit that I know that what I've gone through, what I've learned, can help so many people, and that's why it's so easy for me to stick with one thing. I didn't go through some crazy situation with real estate, for example, for me to stick on that one thing, or some crazy health issue for me to go into health. Because I knew whatever I went through, persevered, that's what I could help people with. For me, it's credit. That's what I stuck with. Luckily, I went through that situation. Maybe if I didn't, maybe I would be jumping around doing something else until it worked.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like many people in that position that have had like just thousands of dollars in debt, typically they get scarred, they become very emotional, and they become very avoidant from even talking about it or even getting into any sort of like, you know, so like in that situation, you're out of it and you're like, you know what, I'm out of it. Let me educate myself and let me start teaching other people. Many people getting out of like a negative experience, they would have been like, dude, screw the stock market. I lost this. Or in your case, screw credit.
But you can't stop using credit.
That's exactly it.
You're either going to get leveraged yourself by the banks, by the schools, by the government, because there's this tool called credit. that 98% of people are getting screwed by. They're enslaved by debt because of their lack of knowledge. Everything that schools don't teach you is what you need to learn. Everything that the schools don't teach you, that's
the
what you need
important
to
stuff.
learn.
Yeah. How many-
They're building employees.
Yeah.
The education system was built by people that needed employees. Employees don't need to be creative. Employees, to some degree, need to be in a enslaved kind of mindset where they just work. They don't try to excel too much. They don't try to be creative and go start their own thing. That's what school is doing.
I
They don't
agree.
teach you credit, even though you really need it. They don't teach you taxes. Every year you're filing taxes. They don't teach you anything about insurance. But when you go to the hospital and they charge you 50 grand, you don't even know that you don't have to pay it.
Yeah, 50
Yeah.
grand for a Band-Aid.
Basically.
People run up those things so much. But to transition into it, you said that you've been to 53 countries.
Yep.
I love traveling. That is my biggest passion in this life. I've been to 19 personally, and hopefully I'm going to be going to Dubai at the
Amateur
end of
numbers,
this year.
bro. Yeah.
About 20. Yeah, shut your 5-country having. All right?
Booze you.
So, as a person that absolutely loves to travel,
Yep.
what was one of I'm not gonna say your favorite, but what was one of your favorite countries, and also the favorite country that you traveled to that you spent the least amount of money, but you had the best experience?
One of my favorite countries is the UAE, specifically the city of Dubai.
Oh wow.
I love Dubai. One, because there's so many people from every part of the world. It's all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Most are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But you can fly to any part of the world on Emirates, business class, first class, straight flight. You don't got to do a layover.
We don't do
And-
economy, right?
And I love sports. Okay, Dubai has got cars, it's got kiteboarding, it's got snowboarding in the desert.
They got camel racing.
Everything is in Dubai. So I love Dubai. But at the same time, I never like to be in one place for more than like 3 months. I travel all the time. Since I started travel hacking in 2019, not 2019, I started when I had no money, which was like 2015, 16, religiously. I was going to school, taking my classes, and on the weekends, just going and traveling to a different country. I had no money at the time.
Wow.
But 2019, when I started making some real money, I was really, really traveling. I was doing like 10, 15, 20 countries a year.
So,
Oh,
you know,
that's
you teach
lit.
a lot of people how to save a lot of money to travel. How much money do you actually, like cash, do you spend per year on traveling?
I would say 100 G's.
Okay, but but like if you had no idea what you were doing, how much would somebody spend to travel the same way you're traveling?
Let me break it down.
Yeah.
Before I had any money, what I was trying to do was travel as cheap as possible. I wasn't worried about staying in super luxurious hotels. I was cool with a 2 or 3 star hotel. I just wanted to stay somewhere, pay no money. Get a super cheap car just to get around. Get an economy flight as cheap as possible, free in most cases. And now that I'm making money, I'm trying to go as luxurious as possible while paying as least as possible, getting everything as cheap as possible. So I'll give you an example. I'm spending 100 G's a year on travel. I'm getting probably 2 mil worth of travel every single year.
That's
my
crazy.
If you
God.
if you look
Yeah.
at my stories on IG, I post everything. I show my flight, my cars, my hotels. I drop the receipts, so all the people that are like, this is a bunch
Fact
of
check.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I drop all the receipts. I show I've been doing the same thing for years and years, and I show all of it. And the way you see me travel, you would think, if you don't know me, this guy's spending at least $1 million on travel. This guy definitely is the son of a sheikh, a billionaire. But in reality, in
Russian mafia.
16, 17, I was flying to London first class on a $16,000 seat, and I couldn't even buy myself a fucking 5-star dinner.
That's hilarious, man.
That's wild.
That is actually what's the favorite airline?
Emirates.
You like Emirates? Yeah,
I love
Emirates.
Emirates.
Is cool. I have never flown there first or business. I want
Emirates
to.
is the best.
That would be super sick. So, do you do most of your travel hacking through points? Is that like, you know?
I would say points used to be the majority of it.
Yeah.
Points is now about 20 to 30% of how I do it.
And so, And so you put 20-30% of cash. I mean, sorry, like into points, and then the rest is cash. And you have, I'm sure, other strategies.
There's a whole travel hacking game with points. There's a whole travel hacking game completely without points. And I'll give people an example. If you want to go and get a car, for example, in LA or Europe, it doesn't matter where it is. They can do it completely without credit. One, they can do something called status matching, which is getting a status from one company, matching it to a different one. And there's different ways to get it, through a credit card, matching one competitor to a different competitor, and getting a very high status that gives you not only discounts, upgrades, and this way you can book a completely piece of shit car, like a, I don't know, Hyundai Sonata. For those of you that drive Hyundai Sonatas, sorry.
Piece of shit
You're
car.
driving a piece of car.
It's a piece of shit car, bro.
And you can get upgraded to a Benz for free. And there's ways to bring that price even down, still get the upgrade, and all this is done without points. This is just like really, really basic stuff.
Yeah. You just have to talk your way through it, and obviously, like, know the ways. Let's get to your $1 million of cars, dude.
All right.
I just saw that. So, are we going public with the cars you got, or are we keeping?
Yeah, why not? Because I already did an interview with my cars.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll drop them this week on IG, but yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, what did you get? You got 3 whips right now, and they're
Yeah.
fire.
Last week, I got a Ferrari F8 Spider 2023. You can't even buy the car because Ferrari has a 1-year no resale. Then I bought a 1 of 500 4x4 G-Wagon. Market price like $500,000. And keep in mind, I buy all these smart. I will never lose money on a car. Even if I lose money on the resale, I will not lose money because it's a tax deduction. It's a marketing tool. And I'm only going to buy these things if I'm going to make money with it, or I'm going to save money with it and somehow use it. The other car I've had for a little while, is a 2022 Urus Pearl capsule. So the Benz was 428, the Ferrari was 417, and the Urus was almost 300, 278.
Yeah. So we're looking at about like $800,000, $900,000.
That's dope, dude. Tell us
And
about
I got
the,
2 Tacomas, one mine, one my brother's.
Nice. That's probably the nicest car in the
I
fleet.
was gonna say that's my
I
favorite.
love
Hands
my
down.
Tacoma. For people that are saying, this guy's a douche, I drive a Tacoma as my daily.
Yep.
Stay grounded.
But
Well, he has $1 million in cars in the garage. Yeah, I'm grounded.
I
though.
have an important question, dude. What about that VW Jetta, bro?
The VW Jetta was my first car. A 2001 Jetta on some custom rims.
It was white.
I
right?
saw the
No,
no,
black.
it was black. It was black.
black.
It was lowered, had some sick rims. It was stick shifts, and I bought it for $5,000. I thought it was
Holy smokes, $5
insane.
grand.
My wheels right now are worth more than that car. But I love it. I had the best time in that car with my friends. Everybody, 6 people, 7 people in that 5-seater
Please
Jetta.
tell me you had like a subwoofer in there as well.
I had a subwoofer. I had a system.
Just come
I
on,
was
dude.
bumping, bro. I was feeling good.
I love it.
My next car was a $7,000 twin turbo GTI that I switched out the front end from a GTI to a Jetta front end, painted it yellow for $500, had some fake BBS wheels on it,
Let's go.
and I had like 450 horsepower to the wheels.
And
No, you're
Front wheel
running, bro.
drive.
so how long until you blew out the headers on that?
I didn't.
Oh no! Oh wow!
It was an engine swap from an S4 into the JTI. It's a JTI because it was a Jetta front end.
That's freaking sick, man. So the justification process of spending $1 million on cars.
Yes.
Right. I don't think anybody in this room probably would have done it. I mean, maybe I would. There's a lot of things. Do you save?
I save a lot of my money because
do?
I invest a lot of my money. I invest probably at least 60% of what I make.
Really? What do you put into real estate or like what type of assets?
Crypto's big. Real
Yeah.
estate will be my second choice. I don't have much right now. I will have probably a lot come 2024.
Nice. So when you say savings, like, do you hold on to cash or do you like always just use?
I
the
sit
money?
on cash until I see an opportunity in something that I really understand. I will not go into an opportunity where somebody says, I know this business thing, I'm going to do this. If I don't understand it, I ain't touching it.
That's a very my uncle does that a lot. That's a very good strategy. Like if I don't understand the language, I'm not going to invest into your.
I don't care if you're making a lot of money with it. If I don't understand it, because you may not see the risk, and if I understood it, maybe I would see the risk. But I don't see. I don't understand the business. I don't understand the opportunity. I don't understand the market. I don't understand the risk. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So what if you had like a homie who was like, "Yo, dude, invest into my marketing agency for cybersecurity companies."
I would say fuck your agency.
Good man.
Guys, I retire.
It's
I
his
quit.
agency.
I quit. I quit, man. I mean, hey,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
to be fair.
I like that though, because I feel like it's a lot of people when they do come up on some money or they do really well in saving money, they really have this fear of spending it into other investments, and they kind of just they gather it and sit on it. But I've always been a big fan of the idea of like my savings is in the assets that I've purchased,
Yep.
right? My savings is in the things that are either collecting on a monthly basis, such as crypto,
Right.
Or something that I'll make one big dump on. I know it's not going to lose value, potentially gain value over time. And in a sense, that asset portfolio that I'm building now, that's my savings, rather than just a bunch of cash sitting in the bank or
Yeah.
under my bed.
Yeah.
So I like that.
So when you were upgrading your lifestyle, were you doing it in stages of like comfortability, like you're like comfortable,
No, absolutely not.
or were you like buying things that you just couldn't afford?
Absolutely not. I never want to be in a comfortable situation because that does not result in progress for me. My situation with credit was extremely uncomfortable. And that was the most progress I've ever made in my life from the situation that I was in to where I was even 2 years after that. I was 82 G's in debt to almost making $1 million in 3 years because of how bad and uncomfortable that situation was.
Yeah.
So when I started making money, I kept myself uncomfortable. For the first 6 months, I realized I need knowledge, I need information. I stayed completely broke because I paid for events, I paid for phone calls. I wanted to learn stuff. I got proximity to people that I wanted to be like or learn from.
Yeah.
That's what I did for the first 6 months. 6 months of that got me from making 6 to 10K with my sales job to making 30 G's doing credit repair, consulting calls, and funding with my credit business. I wasn't even doing education on social media at that point, and I was already making 30 G's just doing that part of the business. I went through the whole credit repair process. I learned how to fix my credit from a 490 to a 750 in 6 months. Get rid of collections, get rid of late payments. I'm like, if I can do this for myself, I know the process, I can help other people.
Yeah.
So I was just doing credit repair for people. I was doing funding for people that don't understand how to go and get money from the banks, not pay any interest. Guys that were doing real estate, I didn't really understand real estate that much, but I understood how to go and get money. I saw an opportunity and I started making a little bit of money that way.
I feel like what you're doing right now is so rewarding, because to see what position you were at and you lived through it, all that anxiety and all that pressure that you felt, to then be on the phone with other people that are going through that and you can feel what they're going through. I feel like if I was to be in that person's position, now I'm speaking to you on the phone, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm screwed. To then hear what you have to say, I'll be like, you know what? This person's been through it, and I trust them. I believe them. You know, so I feel like what you're doing is it's very fulfilling, and it's very important out there because, man,
I just spoke to a girl yesterday and she said, you know, my credit is in the gutter. I'm like, what's going on? She has late payments, and she's got late payments just because she can't pay it. And I can see in her eyes when I was speaking to her, they were watering up. And I see her situation, it's only $8,000 worth of debt. But I remember when I was in 7 G's worth of debt, I didn't see a way out. I thought, I'm just gonna let it go to collections. They can deal with it, I'll deal with it. I thought it was such a crazy situation because I've never been through it. And I saw it in her eyes. I saw she felt exactly like that. I said, look, you can't pay it right now. You'll be able to pay it in a few months. You're in this uncomfortable situation. You find a way to get out of it. It'll only make you better. And you'll understand what you're in right now is very, very
Temporary.
It's very temporary, and you can deal with it very easily. Whether you're making more money, I talked her through on how to get a payment plan with the bank, decrease her interest, remove the late payments, get her credit back up so she can go get a better apartment. And she's like, oh my God, my situation really is not that bad. And I'll tell you what, the more risk, your tolerance for risk directly correlates with how much money you will make. I'm not scared of going back to broke. I've been there. I know I can get out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I can tolerate buying $1 million worth of cars. That's why it doesn't feel risky to me. Everything can be taken away. I'll be like this.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's have some
I
fun.
know how to do it again.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you should. Like, I think you gotta make those purchases. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, my first nice car was a Range Rover. It was an SVR. It was about $130,000 on the sticker, and I leased it. It was a $1,500 per month on the
Yeah.
payment. I think I was making. It was my first. I was making 20 grand, 25 grand a month for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go get it. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
but you're not doing it the smart way. You're leasing the car.
Yeah. There's a couple things. So I don't deal with interest from a religious standpoint. Can't do that. And so there's a lot of things that like I can't finance. I can't.
Yeah.
There's
You know?
so there's an understanding about from that perspective. Obviously, from the car rental game, we understand a little bit about that.
Yeah.
When you're able to do in-house financing with the dealership, so basically in-house, the dealership is, or technically the owner of the car is financing, so like Range Rover themselves, rather than an outside bank, then the interest that's taxed on becomes similar to the interest of a lease.
Huh? Really?
To
From
where-
a purchase standpoint?
Yeah, from a purchase standpoint. So as long as it's in-house financing, you're good to go. Otherwise, if you are using a third-party bank, no Gucci.
Actually, what's funny is the Range Rover. I lied. I actually bought that. So, but they had 0% interest. It was during COVID. So when COVID
Nice.
first hit, it was 0% interest.
All right, dude. Yeah, change your story. Go ahead.
No, I'm not, I just remembered. I bought it. That's why I got rid of it. Like for real. I got rid of it because I was.
He
like,
rented it for a day.
I rented it for a day. Yeah. I never had the car, guys. It was
Hey,
it's
I didn't.
complete
Hey,
fake.
I didn't want to say that, but it was from our company.
Man, I appreciate the hookup, bro. Thank you so
No,
much.
no, but yeah, I love how you attached at the end of like that story of that girl who's in 8K of debt. I love how you attached the risk factor because you were explaining about how like when you first got into about 7K of debt and you were like, oh my God, there's no way out, and then somehow you managed to skyrocket to 82K. So I mean, you know, that risk factor is definitely there, and I respect it. You know,
I tried to get out of that situation by just not thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it got worse.
right?
I'm like, there's no way out. I'll just make it even worse.
Would you say that trajectory from 7K of debt to 82K of debt taught you a lot from what you later on used? Like a lot of those mistakes.
It taught me everything in the beginning
Everything, huh?
because it made it so uncomfortable for me to the point where I thought bankruptcy, leave the country. Like those were my thoughts in my head because I didn't see a way out. How was I going to get out if I'm making 2 G's a month and paying 4 G's in interest and I have 82K on top and I'm already working 40 to 60 hours a week? I'm doing personal training. I'm doing swim classes. I was a swimmer and I love the gym. Like I go to the gym every day. It's my
Nice.
passion. I love it. That's where I learned discipline, dedication. I love the gym. I was in the gym every day when I was broke, and I'm in the gym right now every day. I love it.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense because there was this one. I think it was Alex Ramosi who I heard this from, but it was this quote that basically said, "Good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions."
Yes.
So when you were racking all of that debt, you were gaining all the experience you needed to teach you everything you needed to know, just like you said.
Yes.
So I thought that's
Yes.
pretty. That's pretty.
Hey, bro,
flippin'
do you
epic.
think everybody should own a Ferrari?
No.
No, why not?
Because if I'm driving a Ferrari, it's not special anymore if everybody owns it.
Come on, man. What the heck? You don't
on,
want
dude.
others to like.
That was a good
win
point.
too, or what?
Honestly, bro.
Now everybody should buy exotics.
No.
How long did it take you to get that car?
I'm curious.
2 years.
You were in the market for 2 years to be able to buy it.
In the market or waiting list for 2 years?
So the way you buy Ferraris, Lambos, you get put on a list. If you want to get higher on the list, you got to buy a bunch of cars. I bought 3.
From them?
Yeah, from them.
You've had 3 Ferraris? What do you-
I don't have 3 Ferraris yet.
yeah.
I've been waiting. I got 2 coming.
Ferrari
Oh,
has this.
you bought 3.
Cut that out. I don't want people.
What the fudge, bro?
Wait, you didn't buy 3 previous to this one?
No.
No,
I-
you bought 5 cars. We'll cut it out. Well, if you want to cut it out, we'll cut it out. You bought 5 cars.
Yeah.
Just blur it all out.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
blur it all out. No, because from what I understand, especially as the Ferrari gets more rare, what they do is they look at their veteran list basically. Like if you've previously owned a Ferrari, you get dibs.
Or
So that's what I thought you meant.
have
You've owned 3 before.
No. Or you have a bunch of orders and you have a good relationship with them.
Uh-huh.
It's very much on relationship with Ferrari, Lamborghini.
Right.
More so Ferrari It's very, very difficult to get MSRP on all their cars. Relationship, they gotta like you. A lot of people say it ain't even worth it. I like the process.
Yeah.
I like owning something, buying it very smart to where I'm either making money or just not losing money.
Okay, so tell me a smart way. Like, what the hell does that even mean, dude? Like, tell me a smart way to go buy a $500,000
Okay,
car.
I'll give you an example of my Lambo.
That was a
Okay.
good question.
Yeah.
Okay. So my
'Cause
Lambo.
to most people, $500,000 car is
You
not
were,
smart.
you
I
were
don't
trying
care
to
what it
allude
is.
to that a moment ago, right?
I was.
Yeah, I felt it.
So Lambo, 2022 Lamborghini Urus. That was my first exotic. Some people will say it's not an exotic. I think it's like halfway towards a real exotic.
Bro, that's
it's
an
a
exotic. What the hell?
$250,000 car.
Who's being disrespectful?
Okay.
It's not an exotic. That's a
that
poor
was-
man's Lambo, bro. I don't know what you're talking
Before,
about.
let's rewind. Let's rewind.
Hey, what Lambo do you drive?
The credit the travel hack can give me a mindset of like, hey, you can do cars better, you can do houses better, you can do everything smarter better because every single system, insurance, taxes, credit, it is meant to leverage the 98% so the 2% can benefit. Every system screws the 98% so the 2% can benefit.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. Credit, taxes, insurance, all of those, maybe 2% of people really benefit while everybody else suffers.
screwed.
I'll give you an example. Credit. All the people that go for 0% credit cards, they rack up a bunch of debt. They start paying 24%. But there are people like myself, my students, soon to be you guys, you're going to get this money for free, use it to go buy a piece of real estate, maybe a car for your car rental business, not pay the banks any money. The bank's not going to make any fees, and you're going to benefit completely because you understand how to use it. But they don't care. They got all these other people that have no idea how to use credit, paying them 24%, running up fees. That's why banks make $300 billion a year on fees because of people's lack of
That's
knowledge
crazy.
on
That's
credit.
so crazy.
Yeah, that's
$300
insane.
$30 billion
$300
on fees, dude.
It's
You know what
insane.
fees are? Broke people.
You know how much less money they would make if they started
Crazy.
teaching credit in college?
Oh, for sure.
They would make billions less.
I bet.
That's insane.
When I found that out, because I heard about that like a couple years ago, I was like, dude, that's a lot on broke people. That's people with
Yeah.
insufficient funds in their banks. You know, interest, their credit cards racked up to the max. $300 billion, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the Lambo.
Yeah, how do you smart buy a Lambo? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I've owned the Lambo for a year and a half now. I am going to sell it. The market right now is about $295. I bought it for $278. Drove it for a year and a half.
Why
Everybody that's gonna say COVID made the car prices go crazy. Yeah, for a while the car was worth $390. I could have sold it for $390, but they came down. So realistically, they're almost what they should be.
Actually,
okay?
right now, the car market altogether is taking a fat dump.
Yeah.
Only on specific cars could you really flip it for something.
I'm saying it for the people that are like, it's just only right now. Markets change, situations change. You gotta adapt. So the way that I did the Lambo, I bought it for $278. Okay, I had to pay cash for it for two reasons. I couldn't finance because I didn't have a big enough loan on my personal credit. The previous one was $80K on my Tesla, which I also drove completely for free. I bought it super smart. I did take a loan on it so I can build my personal auto credit. They pull FICO 9, which is the auto credit score.
Yep.
And they look at that, but they also look at what is your biggest auto loan you have. If it's $80K, we'll approve you for maybe $120, $150, depending on how much you make. And if you have 80, they're not going to approve me for $250, $270, or $200.
It's too big of a jump.
So I paid cash. Another reason I did that is I wanted a big tax write-off. It's a 179, it's a 6,000 pound car. So it qualifies for section 179, where you can write off a big portion of the car. Now, I use it for maybe 20% of the time, I use it for personal. 80% of the time, I use it for meetings, I use it for my content, I use it for marketing. So it makes me money that way, but at the same time, I use it for a massive deduction. 278, I'll get a 220 deduction, and now I'm selling it for 295. Maybe I'll get 290 for it, but what is the result? I made 15 G's. Okay.
You saved 200,000.
Yeah, yeah. Now there will be maybe like a clawback or whatever, but in the end, let's say there's no tax deduction. I've still profited 20 G's owning the car. I've made significant money marketing it online. It gets eyeballs. People like Lambos, but more importantly, they want to see who is this person that can actually buy a Lambo.
What color is your Lambo?
It's not about orange, pearl capsule orange 20K paint option.
But there you go. Like that right there is like, the Lambo's already sick. But if it's
Yeah.
like red or if it's orange, it's like a unique bright color. Then
It's a conversation starter, whether
sure.
it's in person or it's online. It's not gonna make you. You can't go and see a Lambo, go to the guy's IG or meet him in person, and you'll see who it is. The Lambo is a conversation starter. Everything else is, who is this person? Are they actually who they say they are? Are they a person that can actually buy a Lambo cash? If so, what do they do? What puts them in a position to be able to spend that much money? Or is this person just one that rented it for a day and then put it back, milked it for content? And you'll see who that person is by talking to them or watching their content for a month. You see those people rise and fall very quickly.
Yeah, we've had a lot of those customers.
Makes sense.
we've run into those kind of people before.
I used to rent cars, but I did it to get a taste. 2019, I rented my first yellow Urus, and I fucking fell in love. I got a taste. I drove it for a day. I always said I rented the cars. Anytime I had a rental, I always said I rented. I've never said this is my car. I bought it. I made sure to tell people it's a fucking rental.
Yeah.
But LA is such a flex like city that every single SoundCloud rapper, every wannabe like just entrepreneur,
Yeah.
just wants to go to like, hey guys, I just got the brand new M3. Life is so good. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, where is it in 2 months?
It's not with them. It's back with me.
Where is
Okay.
it in 20? Where is it in 24 hours?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
in a day after you shut off the phone.
There's a lot of fake shit on social media, but if you really watch somebody, you can really tell what the reality
I
is.
really love how you kind of like put the pin on that, where you were like, the asset does not define who I am as a person, but rather it leverages the opportunity for a conversation with the right people.
Yeah.
You know, I heard something interesting a while ago. One of my mentors told me, he said, you first have to hustle to make cash, and then cash then buys you leverage, and that's the game.
Yeah. So
Because like, you know, opens up doors. Because like, and these I think are smart. Let me ask you something, man. Do you think there's certain cars that aren't a smart decision?
Most of them are not a smart
Like
decision.
exotic cars, aside from, because you picked very specific ones, Lambo Urus.
did someone say Hyundai Sonata?
My exotic cars are cheaper than your Hondas, your BMWs, everything that you guys are driving that's a mid-level, low-level car. My exotics, the way I buy them, they're cheaper than every other car. That's like that. It's
Yep.
cheaper than your M5.
You know, my M5 is.
It's a dope-ass car,
Actually, you want to buy it?
but I might want to buy it actually.
Yeah, take it off of me, bro.
No joke.
Yeah.
I need a beater.
We'll trade it. Can we? Oh my god, bro! Wow. Yo, I thought he said Beamer. No, he said I need a beater, bro.
Yeah, I thought he said
Damn.
Beamer. Just
Bro, I work. Oh my god! You know that
That's
M5? Hey, that M5. I've had
hilarious.
two cars on my mind ever since I was a kid. M5 and a 7. It was taking a McLaren. Now it's a 765. Over time, you know, they keep coming out with new ones. But I appreciate it, bro. If you ever want to take it, I'll trade it for
Okay.
your G-Wagon if you want.
crazy.
Okay. I also like let's bring it back to reality. My Toyota Tacoma.
Reality? What? I thought we were chilling in reality for a while. What are you talking about?
Let's bring it back to everybody. Most people's reality.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
The reality that I was in 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't even afford 5 years ago. I couldn't even afford a $40,000 truck. My daily is a Toyota Tacoma. I love pickup trucks. I love taking my Toyota Tacoma to the gym. Sometimes I take the G-Wagon now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But my
If you ever want my beater car, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, just text me.
But like I think about everything that I do. How can I do it in a smart way where I'm either making money or not losing money? My Toyota Tacoma, I know it's a truck that keeps its value. I know it's something I can buy. I bought it when COVID first hit, and I knew it was gonna scare people. But I knew those trucks were not gonna lose value. They're probably gonna gain because COVID's gonna shut everything down. I bought it for $34,000.
No way.
The guy was gonna sell it to what's that company that buys cars?
CarMax.
No,
Carvana.
Carvana. Carvana was gonna offer him $34,000. I offered him $34,500 to sell it to me and just go do the paperwork with me for 2 hours. He sold it to me. That truck is now 3 years later worth $40,000. It's a Toyota Tacoma off-road 4x4. I got some
CRD?
yeah, I got some suspension, wheels on it, and I always try to buy like the special cars. My Urus is a Pearl capsule. There's less of them. It's a special paint option. It looks sick. But my Ferrari is a Spider. It's more expensive. It's harder to get. My G-Wagon is a 4x4 squared. It's 1 of 500. So all these cars, they're going to depreciate significantly slower. And in some cases, they'll appreciate. The ones that I have, they're probably not going to appreciate, but they're definitely not going to lose as fast as a regular Urus that'll lost $50,000 this year. Mine went back to just a little bit over MSRP after a year and a half.
I want to go buy a new car now.
Bro, you know
Yeah.
that Tacoma? You said you have like suspension on it,
Yeah.
and like what else? Like
Wheel suspension. It's just a lift kit. It's a basic lift kit.
so the value of the car that you said is right now it's around like $40K. That's not including all those aftermarket parts that you got.
I spent like 4 G's putting the wheels and lift kit, the window tints on it. So I'm in it at 38, taxes, fees, 39.40. Okay, but right now they're going for 40, 42.
No,
What
so
BB's trying to get to is like typically when you like upgrade cars,
especially
they typically
off,
depreciate.
especially
Hold
off.
on.
Yeah.
But they typically depreciate.
Yeah,
But if it's like Jeeps, Tacomas, specifically those two cars, and you add them, like you have some sort of like upgrades to them,
Yeah.
they only appreciate.
you just got to think about it. Like everything that you do, there's a good way to do it. There's a proper way to do it, a smart way to do it. Cars. I look at what car has a great fan base. People call Tacomas tacos. There's a huge fan base around Toyota Tacomas specifically. You can mod those cars. I looked at the market. The modded cars were still worth significantly more than the stock ones. It's hard to mod. It's hard to wait for the parts. There's a crazy community around them. I learned this, and that's the car that I went for.
If you need a rooftop tent, let us know. We got a guy.
Okay.
We actually got a plug.
We do have a plug. If you guys don't mind, I want to like throw this back to the whole traveling side of the conversation.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because what I really enjoy about traveling is like you get to open up your own perspective on life in different ways because you quite simply are seeing different lives, right? And the way
Yep.
people experience life differently. So what would you say is kind of like, what has traveling to so many countries done for you in terms of shifting your perspective?
The first thing it did for me was just open up my mind is look at all these opportunities. Look at where I can travel to, all these people that I can meet. In this country, in Thailand, they're eating cockroaches and scorpions, while in Dubai, they're driving gold Rolls Royces and flying private jets and oil tycoons. Completely different parts of the world, and I can just do what I want to do, be whoever I want to be, live in whatever environment that I want. And I saw I could do that using no money at first. That opened up doors for me in my mind. Wow, if you can do this with travel, you can probably do it with everything, with cars, with houses, with taxes, with insurance. There's a smart way to do things, and that is what opened it up for me. Travel.
That's
and
crazy.
travel hacking to a different country.
So literally because you were able to get out so much, it kind of like shifted your mindset on business and like the opportunity of areas of growth.
I saw how much money people were making. I was staying at Ritz-Carlton's when I was making $2,000 a month. I was staying in $1,000 rooms, and I was meeting a lot of people in the lobby. That was my thing. Like, I didn't just go just to stay there in a cool hotel. I stayed there to get around people that are making significantly more money
There was a
that could
purpose.
afford those hotels. My thing was I want to fly in the business class seats and meet the people that can afford these business class seats, because I know everybody's not travel hacking it. The Ritz-Carlton, they've got to make money. So I appreciate all the people that have no idea how to travel hack. Airlines, hotels, they've got to stay profitable. Thanks to the people that don't know how to travel hack. So we need those people. Without it, not taxes or insurance or hotels or cars, none of these smart ways to do it it would be much more difficult because they're not profitable. Okay, insurance companies wouldn't be profitable if people weren't getting stupid policies that are just losing them money.
Right.
So that was my thing.
I
like
think
it.
traveling, it opens up your mind to limit how the world is like basically limitless. Because I really do believe it is. Like, I mean, there's like there's infinite amount of things that you could do, an infinite amount of opportunities that you can tap into, and I feel like the exposure to the environment is like honestly the first step to like doing anything.
I think also changing your environment a lot is a really, really big thing. Now, I'm somebody that thrives in not knowing what's going to happen next. I could be in Brazil tomorrow, realistically. All my trips I planned 24 hours ahead. Me and him were like, yo, you want to go to Portugal? We're out in Portugal the next day. He's taking his first free business class flight. I'm in first class, $16,000 seat. No points. This is high level stuff. He's not paying any points. We're out to Portugal. We land there. We get a 8 Series BMW. That's usually $400. We get it for $80. No credit, no points involved. That was one of the first hacks, taken to a slightly higher level. And we're like, you know what? Why don't we just go to Spain? Let's go to Spain.
It's right there.
I mean, it's a 6-hour drive. We flip up Waze. Here's a little hack for those of you that are traveling to Europe and don't want speeding tickets. Pull up Waze on your phone. It'll tell you where all the speed traps are, and you can fly as fast as you want through Europe without getting any speeding tickets. So we're going like 200 kilometers an hour, 120 or 130, straight to Spain.
Vibes.
Pull up at the Edition Hotel, travel hacked as well. A little bit of points, a little bit of high level status was involved, a little bit of points, and some other high level stuff that I just share in the inner circle, the private community.
That's dope.
The weekend turns out to be my next door neighbor. Okay. And I'm like, what is he doing here? Because I saw a big crowd of people outside. And then I go outside pretending to be the weekend, waving at everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not the weekend. It's
Very
basically fun.
convincing.
You know,
very
guys,
convincing.
we gotta do stuff like this for the podcast because you get around some crazy people when
Hey,
you just
you guys wanna shoot this pod in Portugal?
in Portugal. Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it again in Portugal, bro.
Let's do it.
Yeah, 24 hours. Let's go. Hop
Okay.
on a plane.
Hold on.
No,
You don't mess with this guy,
dude,
dog.
no, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll do it, bro.
Hold up, check this out. So we realized it's the weekend concert because the
Yeah.
weekend was right there.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I saw him walk out. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
he's got a concert. We go to the concert. We're like, you know, we're tired of Spain. Let's go back to LA. We were there for like a week. It was great. I love Spain. Nobody's fat.
True.
Everybody
No,
walks.
they're not. Yeah, everyone's super
Everybody
fit.
walks. And the food's extremely healthy compared to the U.S. People in the U.S. have no idea what they're eating.
What parts of
They're
Spain did you go to?
We were in Madrid. I
Okay.
love Madrid. I was in Barcelona before. That's why I rented a F8 Spider, and I loved that car. And that's what translated to me buying it here, probably.
Yep.
I loved Madrid because Barcelona is like the San Francisco of Spain. It's dirty, a bunch of woke people. Everybody's got colored hair.
Oh Lord.
The Catalonian.
Yeah, exactly. I got a lot of friends from Catalan friends. They're great, but not any woke friends.
Personally, between the two, when I traveled, because I went there, I went to Granada, I went to Nerja,
Yeah.
I went to a couple other places as well. I really, really loved Barcelona as opposed to Madrid. Maybe I
Vale.
didn't go to the right places in Madrid, but I feel like Barcelona was just so much more beautiful.
Vale.
You just need a certain colored flag.
So we're like, over Madrid, let's go back to LA. This was the first time we paid for a full price business class ticket
Oh no, I'm so sorry, bro. That sucks.
because it happened to be $1,500 total.
No way.
So when a ticket is that cheap, we just pay cash. Before, I would have put in a little bit of extra work to make it free, potentially risk not getting business on the flight back. I would have done that before I had any money. Because I had no money. I really had no chance to go and just pay because I didn't want to deal with a little bit extra work to travel hack it to zero. It was through Colombia, and I'm like, okay, $1,500 through one of my favorite countries for a couple days. It's $1,500, so that's the first time I ever paid for a business class international seat. So out to Colombia, travel hacked the hotel over there, of course. Got a $2,200 penthouse for $120, no points involved. and then we're back to LA, and we will probably be out pretty soon again. So that's the way I live. That's the way I travel. I thrive in not knowing what's happening next. I love that, and part of it is because I went through so much risk, so many uncomfortable situations in the beginning that I thrive on it. I'm very comfortable with it. And I feel like every single person that has massive success in a business that's done millions, they're comfortable with that as well because they've gone through some sort of situation like that, or they've been very close to somebody that's gone through a situation like that. I would say it's not the same learning from somebody that has to the same level, but it's better than learning it going through something like that yourself. My whole goal with teaching credit and travel hacking is so nobody has to go through what I went through, because I think most people just would not survive that situation. They would just say, I'm going to go bankrupt, wait 7 to 10 years till everything falls off, and start over. I don't want people to have to go through that situation to get to where I'm at, even to some level. I'm not saying to making hundreds of thousands with a lifestyle business or learning credit at my level or travel hacking at my level. Even 20% of the knowledge I have on credit and travel hacking will put you above 98% of people. It'll have you thinking smarter, being better with your money, being better with your credit, all around. These things you don't, you can't run away from.
How much did that whole trip cost you?
So the goal was $100,000 trip for less than $6,000 bucks.
Nice.
So if I would have paid full price, $100,000. We hit 78,000 full price. Like if I would have paid full price, the total we spent was under $6,000 for our first class and business class flights, for our 5-star hotels at the Edition of Madrid, at the W in Portugal. Where else did we stay? I don't know, some other Marriott. 4 or 5-star hotels for 3 people, 2 flights. Less than $6,000 travel hack for that entire trip, which would have cost us 78 G's full price.
That's insane, man. That's
See?
insane.
And I posted all of it on my story on IG. Everybody saw every single step, every single room, every single receipt.
Yeah. I see your content all the time.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Let's be real, dude. When you travel with the mindset of like just not knowing what's gonna happen next, that's where the best stories are gonna come from. That's where you're gonna have the best experiences.
I don't plan shit. I go to a country, I get there, everyone's like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Fucking relax.
That's why we're traveling, man, to chill.
No, we don't chill. No. I hate chilling.
Okay.
I fucking hate chilling. I take so much caffeine when I travel because
yeah.
I do not sleep, I do not chill. I go do as much as I possibly can. You've had enough caffeine, your hands fucking shaking.
I know, bro. I'm like drilled out, bro.
I just came back from Europe. I was running on 1,000 milligrams of caffeine out in Europe, and I'm still on 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. I love that shit. I've been doing this since I was 18. A couple scoops a day. It started with the gym, but I started just taking scoops just to take scoops. I make more money with it. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
Sleep a little bit less.
So-
To my point, I get to a country. I don't like planning anything. I get there. We look on IG or get some cool ideas. Hey, let's go drive some cool cars down to this beach. We'll get some cool videos. Maybe meet some people. It'll be a cool experience. I try to document everything just to not even for my business necessarily, just to go back and look at it 5 years down the line. I love documenting stuff. Even when I was broke, I was documenting it because I know 5 years later, I would love to look back at my journey. And I would tell everybody, go document your journey, no matter what you think you're doing, whether you know what you're doing, whether you don't know what you're doing, document it. It's so dope to go look back on what you were doing 5 years later instead of saying, I got this one photo from me in college. No, I had a GoPro in college. I'm not going to show it to anybody. I had a GoPro in college just documenting all the parties, all the shenanigans. Maybe that translated to me loving to make content about everything that I do, all the travels that I do. So I don't plan shit. I have a great idea. I do it. It comes to me. I do it. I don't think about it. I just take action and I do it. I want to go to a different country. Seems like a good idea. Let's do it. Somebody tells me, yo, Jan, let's plan 3 months out for a trip. I'll say, I'll meet you in the fucking country. Tell me.
I'll meet you there.
That's funny. So how much of your activities comes from, let's just ask random people? Because when we travel,
What kind of activities? What are you talking about?
okay, chill out, like ping pong shows. So when we travel,
If you go to Thailand,
fun fact about Thailand, we've also been to Tiger Kingdom in Phuket.
nice.
So I saw that on your IG and I was like,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
So there's this thing that we kind of like discovered in our traveling experience where we were just like, you want to have the most out of your experience traveling, become curious, start asking the locals,
Yeah.
go meet other travelers, you
Yes.
know? If flipping, you end up meeting people who are like, yeah, dude, I just came back from Peru. I'm going to Costa Rica next and blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, what the hell? And whenever you get curious and you start tapping into that curiosity to really just figure out what to do next, where to eat, blah, 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 we found that the best parts of our trip just came from suggestions of other people who were at the same place. So how much of your experience of like what your activities are, how much comes from just being curious and asking people?
I really do not like tourists. So whenever I ask somebody in a country, oh, where should I go? They assume I'm a tourist. I want to go to a touristy destination.
Mm-hmm.
I never ask the locals. I never ask anybody. I look on IG, and if I see like a cool post or a cool video about some location that's not touristy, I go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, what is the most absurd shit that we can possibly do in this country? I'll give you an example. I was in Costa Rica, and I almost got eaten by a crocodile. It was my 21st birthday, and in that same day, I got followed by 50 taxi drivers. We got in a fight with a few of them. They destroyed our car. And
He's from Russia, bro. What do you expect?
I was literally,
Yeah,
I was waiting for him to
that's in
finish.
24 hours. That was a 24-hour day. And the reason that happened was because we were crossing the Crocodile River in Costa Rica, and people stand on the bridge just like 200 feet tall. They're throwing like meat. There's crocodiles somewhere down there. I'm like, let's get a better shot of these crocodiles on the GoPro down in the river. My friend was with me. He's like, yeah, that's not really good. I'm like, you don't want stories? I'm like, let's go. So we go around the fence. There's a crossbone that says death, don't enter. But there's a hole in the fence. I'm like, if there's a hole in the fence, we just got to.
Someone made it.
Someone made it. Someone's gone through it. I didn't think. Did they come back? Did they not come back?
No
I go
evidence
through
there.
it. We're I've never told this story on a podcast. We're walking through it. There's bushes about this tall. Mind you, there's a bridge. All the tourists, whatever, they stop on there, to watch. And the bridge is about a mile long. So there's like I would say quarter mile of brush. And then there's sand. And then there's the river where all the crocodiles swim. It's infested with crocodiles. Or alligators. I don't know which one it is. They're massive. Okay, there's just hundreds, maybe thousands, but hundreds that you can visually see. Imagine how many are underwater. So we're walking through the brush. I'm not even thinking at all. I'm like, yeah, they're probably down there, the crocodiles. And I turn to my friend. I'm like, oh, there's a crocodile. And I'm just fucking with him. He starts running. I'm like, this is all good. It's all good. We kept walking, and I see the crocodiles. I'm like, they're not that fast. I could probably just like put my phone, put my GoPro, and make a video of them like trying to charge me or whatever. I'm like, that'll be such sick content.
Such a Russian thing to do, bro.
I was about to say.
He's about to fight the bear, bro. It's one of those things. Like, hey, bro, what's up?
I'm walking slowly, and it's harder and harder to see because it's becoming wet in the marsh or whatever it's called. The river's coming, getting closer, and I'm walking and walking. There's kind of rocks. There's stuff I'm stepping on, and I kind of step on this thing. I'm like above the grass, and I can see all the alligators, and I look down. I'm standing on a fucking crocodile.
You're standing on him?
I'm standing on his back.
On top? No way. How did you not feel that, bro? Were you wearing shoes or like?
Because you can't see the ground. It was all
You
grass.
stepped on that guy?
I'm looking down. I just froze.
Oh my god!
My friend behind me doesn't see it. He's like, what are you doing? You're going to scare me again? I'm like, the thing's not moving. I don't know if it like went to go digest or it's dead. I don't know what it was. I'm like, fucking jumped off, sprinted. My friend doesn't believe me until he sees the fucking thing. It was like 15 feet.
Oh my
long.
god!
It was absolutely massive. To this day, I don't know if it was dead or digesting, but I stood on the back of it where the tail and the legs were, that part.
Yeah. Dude, what a story to tell, man. That's
Fucking
crazy.
ran out of
That's
there.
the most Russian thing I've heard him say all day, basically.
I get to the destination. We're like, the day's getting kind of boring.
Oh, yeah.
Crocodile, okay.
Obviously.
Crocodile situation was okay. We didn't get eaten. We got to go do something absurd. This was my 21st birthday.
Oh.
This was my 21st birthday. I was sober for the crocodile part. But later that night, we're like, we got to go to a club and do some crazy, crazy shit. We go to a club, and in Costa Rica, these clubs are like, they're wild. Everybody's plastered. There's not too many tourists. I was the only blonde dude in the entire club. And me and my friend, I don't really drink anymore. If I do, it's like a little bit of tequila. But I stopped drinking when I was like 23. My college days, I was getting plastered, partying nonstop. And this was my 21st birthday. I had to go hard. I go to the club. I do 21 shots to start.
That's a start. Yeah, you got pregame, bro.
21
Warm up,
shots
warm up.
to
Pregame,
start.
guys. Pregame.
I obviously get plastered out of my mind.
Are you sure, bro? The Russian blood, I think you guys are immune to, like...
We leave the club. It was my friend. We had a bunch of people with us. And I realized my phone's not with me. I'm like, motherfucker, my phone's not with me. I was like, it's got everything. I call it. I thought the people that we met stole it. I'm like searching everybody. Turns out, after we call it, we hear the taxi driver, hey, no mames, way, puts the phone down. This taxi driver stole my phone. And I could see Find My iPhone because he didn't know how to use an iPhone. He kept turning it on and off, and it kept following him. And we go to the location where the taxi drivers pick up the people from the club. We see the dude. We get into the back of the taxi, and I speak in Spanish. I know a little bit of Spanish, and I whisper in his ear. I'm like, dame mi teléfono. Dame mi teléfono. He sees my face. He fucking charges out of the car. The car is moving. It's not going that fast, maybe 10, 15 miles an hour. The dude sees my face, books it out of the taxi. We're in the back seat rolling with the taxi just into a wall. We're plastered out of our mind. We're like, we look at each other. This guy's sprinting. We know he stole my phone. We know. So we both jump out of the car. Somehow didn't break anything. My friend was going through a big like life situation, so he was livid. He was pissed. Not from my phone, from his like situation that he was going through. The dude is a runner. He starts sprinting after the taxi driver that gets in a different taxi and starts trying to drive away. But he gets caught at a red light, and my friend catches up to him. He busts his fucking window out, pulls the taxi driver out of the car, and starts kicking his ass in the middle of this intersection in Costa Rica. He's plastered. I catch up to him. I'm not as fast.
Eventually.
The taxi driver pulls out a knife. My friend doesn't see this. So I had to get in a few punches to the taxi driver before he stabs my friend. And at this time, the Costa Rican police pull up. They all have assault rifles. The Costa Rican police, they drive around in these trucks. They all sit in the back.
Yep.
Same like in Mexico. They have these vests. It looks scary. So they pull up. They're yelling in Spanish. They're pointing guns at my friend. I'm standing up. I'm like, I've already backed up from the situation. He's still like trying to kill this guy. And he doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. He's just yelling at the taxi driver, at the police, saying, fuck you, mother. I'm like, yo, okay. We're about to get shot in Costa Rica. He might be more plastered than I am. I handled myself a little bit better. But I speak, a decent amount of Spanish to get by. I'm like, I told him he stole my phone. They searched the car. Couldn't find the phone. But it was the car he hopped into. Not the car he hopped out of that's now in a wall. Okay? So they take my friend to jail. Because he broke the window. He kicked this guy's ass. There's no proof that he stole my phone. So he's in jail. They didn't take me to jail. I was calm. I talked my way out of it in Spanish. And I went to the jail with him just to follow my friend. But I see all the taxi drivers are following us behind. The guy called all his friends, and they all pulled up in taxis following the police car to the jail. We're sitting in the jail, safe, but we see on the other street all the taxis are waiting. But I'm like, I got to get my friend out of jail first. He's sitting there crying. I'm like, fucking pussy. I'm like, I still got to get him out of jail.
Is this all the same day with the crocodile?
This is all one day. But this is like 3
Bro,
a.m.
you can write a whole book on this.
I don't
day,
think
bro.
there's another human being who's experienced a better 21st birthday.
This is too much fun. So continue. Okay, wow.
So I'm like, this jail is so sketch. It's got broken walls. Nobody's at the front. Security walks out. I'm like, there's a deal I can work out. So I talk to the security guard, work out a deal with him to get my friend out of jail for $500. There was like a bail. They called it bail after I said $500. They're like, bail. Okay.
It's another
So
word for
$500.
another B word.
I got my friend out of jail. We walk outside. We see all the taxis. Oh, they pulled up our car. The car that we took to the club. The police brought it to the police station. They towed it. I'm like, why the fuck did they tow it? The car's smashed up. The taxi drivers destroyed our car. The wheels, the windows, but I knew that we rented it on an Amex Platinum credit card, which had rental coverage. So I knew that was good. My friend didn't know. He's like, we're about to pay so much money for the car. Nah, we paid it with an Amex Plat. It covered the car. But we had to take that car back to the hotel. So we're driving this destroyed car on the rims.
Are you still drunk at this point?
Plaster.
Oh, it's a movie.
He's like, dude, I know. Am I driving right?
But I had so much adrenaline pumping that it really like,
You were focused.
It sobered you up.
Yeah. This whole situation lasted like 2-3 hours. So
Bro, you went to jail back and got attacked by the taxi mafia?
the taxi drivers were waiting. There was probably 20-25 cars.
No way.
It was. I'm like, bro, it's getting bad. But our hotel had security, and I knew if we get to the hotel, we're good. We get to the hotel, but the whole time they're following us. They're just slowly following us. We're on the rims of the car, busted windows, just going like 5-10 miles an hour.
What time in the night was this?
It's like 4 a.m. now. We get to the hotel. And my friend is not having it. He wants to fucking fight somebody. I'm like, yo, I just bailed you out of fucking jail. Let's just go to the hotel. Taxi driver gets out. He told all his friends that we kicked his ass, that he didn't say anything about the phone. But we knew it was the phone because we saw the Find My iPhone go to the same taxi place and start going around the city. So he passed it off for something. And then I start speaking in Spanish. I'm like, this guy stole our phone. He stole my phone. I found it on Find My iPhone back to the location where he picked me up. And then some of the people were like, oh yeah, this guy does steal shit. I remember he steals his customer's shit.
Really?
Half his people leave. And half of his close friends or whatever, they stick with him. They're ready to fight. My friend starts just like fucking charging them. He just starts charging them. And these guys, people in Costa Rica, they were a little bit shorter, especially these taxi drivers. They were like, they were a lot shorter than him and me. I think he was like 6'2". I'm a little bit shorter than him. I'm 6 foot. They were like, I don't know. They were like this to us, right? So we start charging them, and he starts fighting the fucking taxi driver again. Bro, 2 of his friends piss their fucking pants. They piss their pants. They leave. This guy realizes his situation is not going his way anymore. He gets in his taxi, starts trying to run us over. He starts trying to run us over. I'm like, yo, it's time to fucking dip. The security in the hotel, they didn't even want to help us at this point. Mm-hmm. They were like, that's it. We're done. At that point, the cops pull up again. They're like, all right. I'm like, all right. Okay. They're about to fire this time. We part ways. We just leave the car in the street, go to the hotel. I'm like, we got to dip out of Costa Rica. We leave Costa Rica the next morning.
Were you still so drunk or sobered up?
I sobered up.
Okay, good. He's like across the country. Like, hey, how do we make it?
That was my 21st birthday.
That's. I mean, my 21st birthday was definitely not like that. Crocodile.
I am at a loss of words right now.
Yeah, I don't even know how to respond. I don't even know
I
how
don't
to.
know
I've never
I don't
told
know
this
where to
story on a
start.
podcast.
This is such
All-
such an insane story, man.
All my close friends know this story, but I feel like it's a story that.
That's such an epic story, man.
That's an
You know what's
experience.
crazy?
We went to Costa Rica,
Yeah.
and that was like one of our favorite countries.
Best trip ever, but like the most epic thing was like, oh, jungle party.
Like,
I don't
yeah,
even want to
dude,
tell that
after-
story
hey,
because
listen, after this podcast, y'all have to travel different now. Because remember,
For
we had a
sure.
conversation on traveling. They're like, yeah, we like to travel cheap, just backpack. And I'm like, I can't do that shit. Like, I gotta make it like interesting. So you gotta.
yeah, like okay, so we had a moment in Costa Rica. Did you ever go to Rio Celeste?
I don't remember.
It's the like Gatorade blue waterfall.
I mean, I was 21, so I'm 29 right now. It was 8 years ago.
Got you. So anyways, it was one of the most gorgeous waterfalls in the entire country, right? Probably the highlight of our trip, right? And so like the most risky thing that we've done was like, oh, you can't swim in these waters. And this guy was like, no, hell no, nobody's stopping me. And then we just hop over the fence. But there was no crocodiles. And there definitely was not 25 taxis. So like our Costa Rica trip is clearly just on a different playing field than yours. That's for sure.
And he's traveled 53 countries.
Yeah.
So this is just one of them. Do you get into trouble with the cops in all of them, or what?
I mean, Thailand, I do wheelies on the scooters. They found a bag of pre-workout on my scooter one time, and they thought it was coke. You know how, like, in Philippines and Thailand, that's like a death penalty, basically.
They'll shoot you.
They'll put you in jail. I was doing I was like, I think 23, 24. I had no money, but I was in Thailand. I was like, it's cheap. I travel hacked it. I had a bunch of pre-workout. I travel with pre-workout all the time because coffee, pre-workout. I don't sleep. I try to make content, make the most out of a trip as I possibly can. So I had pre-workout on the scooter. I was doing a wheelie. I used to ride motorcycles. So I can wheelie on a little Thailand scooter. And I'm wheeling through from the club. It was like 2 a.m. coming back from a club. I was also plastered at the time.
No, wait. Stop. You're riding a motorcycle, drunk.
Scooter.
Yeah.
A scooter, or whatever, still.
Don't do that. Do not do that.
No.
Do not do
This
that.
is that. By the way, guys, I've been riding for 7 years, so like I'm just ain't like I'm sitting there thinking like, and you're popping a wheelie.
I'm on a scooter. I'm doing like 20 miles an hour.
Okay, all right, fine. We'll let you pass this time.
I'm not on like a super bike.
Because I've met some people like I've met some people who are like
Yeah.
crazy. Like they'd be high drunk, popping wheels, going 100. I'm like,
I was
you are nuts.
absolutely crazy. I was absolutely crazy. I thought it was super fun, but obviously it's super dangerous.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
yeah.
doing really dangerous, really dumb shit.
Wait, hold on. So finish the story.
Yeah. So here's the story. So I'm coming back from a club. I'm plastered. I'm on a scooter. My friend behind me, it's the first time in Thailand, first time on a scooter. He's plastered. I'm popping a wheelie. And I realize I'm popping a fucking wheelie through a DUI checkpoint.
No.
Through the DUI checkpoint?
He's like,
Legend.
what's up, police?
That'd be
Keeps going.
that'd be so dope if they had like a
Pictures
camera
or something,
system,
yeah.
and this dude just that'd be
And you know
dope.
how in Thailand, the DUI checkpoints, they're all dark. They just have a couple of motorcycles, a couple cars, and you only know when you're passing through it. And they say, stop your bike, stop your bike. They started pointing their guns at me. I'm like, Mike, again. Anyways, I stopped. I was cool. But they pop open the little latch, and they see a bag of white powder. It's my pre-workout, but they think it's cocaine. And look, pull the guns again. I'm like, no. It's like it's for the gym. For the gym, it's pre-workout. For the
They're
gym.
like, yeah, hell yeah, it is.
Coke can be used for the gym too, bro.
Trust me, I've tried.
The dude doesn't speak a lick of English. I'm like, he wants money, obviously. I didn't have any money at all. And he's like trying to tell me what's gonna happen if I don't pay him. And he pulls up a picture of SpongeBob behind bars, and he's like, this is gonna be you. This is gonna be you. He's like this. I'm like,
Me, SpongeBob, what?
I don't watch that show. I understood what he wanted. He wanted money. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I'm a businessman at heart. I said, keep my friend as collateral. I'm gonna go and get your money. Yeah, because I know I can work out something, make it look like I'm giving him some sort of like money or value. And then he wanted $10,000. I'm like, 10,000 Thai baht? He's like, no, 10,000 US. He said 10,000 USD.
No way.
I'm like,
That's crazy.
I have nothing. I'm broke. I got here for free. What do you expect?
Uh-huh.
I have a bag of pre-workout.
That's
$10,000
insane.
for
So-
Dude. You should have gave him a bump of the pre-workout. Just told him to move on, dude.
I go back to the hotel. I had like a broken GoPro, like a couple bucks, and I put it all in a bag, as if it's like all my possessions. I put it all in a bag. He wanted money, but I'm like, GoPro. It's a broken GoPro. All this shit. I'm like, I come back, and I was thinking, I'm like, what if my friend just like dips? Like, nah, he's not crazy like that. And I give him the bag. It's all this stuff. I'm like, this is everything that I own, that I have to my name. It was like $17 and a broken GoPro.
A bunch of eBay accessories.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. I'm like, it fucking worked.
Smooth.
It worked. I sold him. I sold the guy on the idea that I had nothing. And I sold him on the idea that I was fine to drive the motorcycle back home. And that he wasn't going to get any money out of me.
I love it.
I literally am like.
And
Yeah.
that's how you get yourself out of a situation in Thailand.
Anyway, guys. So basically, if you want to travel hack,
Police hack.
police hack, dude, you should run a course.
Oh,
on
you know what? Actually, I had a question. So, what is food kind of the thing where you're like, I'm stuck with this expense, or is there a food hack as well when traveling?
I mean, hotels. Like if you got high status, for example, with
Okay.
hotels, you can get free breakfast, you can get food credits. But that's like such a small thing. I know food is super expensive, but that's my biggest expense
right. Okay. So
because I go to nice restaurants all the time.
yeah, you kind of have to deal with if you want to try a new experience, you're in a new country, you want to try something different from the food. Because a continental breakfast at the
I
hotel
travel
is-
hack like the way people say, hey, you get all these things for free. I travel hack massive companies that are gonna stay profitable no matter what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I only travel hack flights because 99% of people are paying full price. That flight's gonna go still. That hotel room is still gonna be there. They're still gonna profit in some way, and I can stay there. But food is something that I'm not even gonna try to travel hack food, even if there's a way, because these are small businesses, mom and pop shops.
True.
I would love to even pay double. I save hundreds of thousands on travel. I'm very smart with my money. If I'm gonna spend money, I'm gonna do it to support small businesses, mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
So if I'm at a restaurant in a different country, I'll tip double the amount. I am very happy to pay whatever they charge. I will never try to travel hack food in that way.
I love it, man. Dude, this has been a freaking blast. I feel like I traveled to a different country talking to you. If I'm being honest. Hey, so how can people find you, man? Like where?
Instagram at King Credit. That's where they can find free content, teachings if they want to go to the advanced level, learn all the advanced credit, travel hacking, money secrets. Everything that I do, I present it as a blueprint in my program called The Inner Circle. I've got 2,100 students. I've done the same thing since 2019. I've made it better and better and better. It's a large community, and that's where everybody can learn the advanced stuff, exactly how I do it. But Instagram, at King Credit, a lot of free value, a lot of free knowledge, a lot of amazing experiences that you can experience with me, watching my stories as I go through country to country and get into situations. And while you're not going to see everything, you'll see a lot of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I forget the stories, dude. I want to sit down and have the the real stories be told again. Even off camera.
Yeah, and so like if people want to kind of join your program, what do they do? Just DM you or like what?
Yeah, right now it's a
By the way, guys, I've bought his stuff before. It's pretty legit. So
He's a student of mine.
yeah. Dude, it's crazy because like, you know what I find something so interesting. I'll wrap it up here, but like, his Instagram, basically the content's super valuable, right? But the way he delivers it is so simple from a business standpoint, and I'm just like, I gotta give it up to him, because like it's basically his Instagram. He just has locked content. You pay him, and then he gives you access to that locked content plus lump sum of things, right? And I just thought that was so dope because you're basically like living your life, having fun, posting content, and getting paid for all of it. As you do it.
The thing is, I'm helping so many people from a situation that I went through, learned from, and created an amazing life from. Now, yes, of course, I make money with it. I made a business that integrates with my lifestyle. I'm not going and working on my business that I'm living life. I'm doing it all in one time, helping people, making money, and at the same time living the same life, that I would have lived and all the things I would have done even if I wasn't doing this business.
Yeah.
But this helps me elevate that, help people, and do it all at once.
It's a win-win.
You're a G, man.
Appreciate it,
Thank
bro.
you so much for hopping on, bro. And any last words before we wrap up, guys? Or?
No, this was
This was
absolute-
an awesome
This
conversation.
was so much fun. I still have a bunch of stuff that I wanted to ask about, but
We'll do it again.
We'll do it.
Well, you know what we should do? Like deadass. We should actually do another episode in a different country.
No, let's do it.
Like straight up.
Want tomorrow?
That would. Where do you want to go tomorrow, dude?
Now we can fly it anywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, honestly, it's so easy. The world is so small. If you think about it, anywhere in the world you can fly to in 24 hours, realistically. And if you know how to do it for pennies on the dollar, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally
can do
agree.
it. You can do it in a very cheap
Does
way.
it kind of scare you that there's actually only 200 countries in the world?
I mean, I've been to 53, and I don't think I'll ever get to 200. There's so much space. There's
I mean,
so many.
there's
countries.
some places you probably shouldn't go, right?
Like
Although
what, the
those
Bermuda
make for great
Triangle or
stories
what?
as well.
The
But
places
no,
that you think I shouldn't go, I probably want to go to the most.
for sure, yeah. But no, does it scare you that there's only 200 and like that is something that is not too crazy to achieve, to actually go to all 200 countries?
I think that's so many. I think there's so many things you can do in one country.
True.
So many people you can meet, so many experiences you can have, and just even one city. Imagine LA. I love LA. Whatever people say about LA, I mean, the place I live in now, I used to live downtown. People got murdered in my building. But I got out of there.
By a crocodile
And then
or what?
not by croc, the drug dealers.
An alligator.
No, an
that
alligator, my
that
bad.
part of LA is dangerous. That part of LA is bad. But like every big city besides Dubai, probably the safest city in the world. Part of why I really like it, it's ran really, really well. But part of LA is also amazing.
Yeah.
The place I live in now is gated, 24-hour armed security. If you get in, there's only one way in. There's no way out if you're going to be up to no good.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's like at gated communities. I fully support.
In his old place in
Yeah.
downtown, you would get in through a cut in the fence.
Who? Me?
No, his old place
oh,
in
yeah,
downtown.
totally.
It was a cut in the fence.
That was his way in. Well, I appreciate you so much for hopping on, dude.
For sure, man.
It's
Thanks.
really been a blast. You know, thank you so much for all the cool information. And for everybody that's watching, if you guys enjoyed, just remember to hit the boy up, shoot him a DM. Any specific word we could use on this podcast that you think would be cool? Put you on the spot right now.
Any word? Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, hey. So
DM Costa Rica and then DM your question, whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, like myself or my team, we're always in the DMs. That's how you get access to the program. That's how you can ask questions. I'm myself. I'm always in the DMs. I love seeing what people are up to, what they're asking. This way, I can help my audience. This way, I can help. This way, I can be very close to the people that I'm helping, my audience. That's why I've got a very, very loyal audience.
yeah,
you
your
know-
engagement is insane.
Yeah,
Like
and there's
for
a
the
reason
follower,
for it. I constantly drop value. I haven't missed a day of content in 4 years because I love doing it. I did 1,000 one-to-one calls for my first 1,000 students.
That's nuts. Yeah. I mean, hey, when you love something, you go all in and you do what's right and you make it work. You know, it's just how it is. But
So IG at King Credit, send me a DM, Costa Rica, so we know you're coming from this podcast, and then ask whatever you want. Whether you want a question answered, you want a free blueprint on credit and travel hacking, that's what I'll give your people.
sick.
Why not?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then send me the commissions check, please. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Pleasure doing business, man. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed, just remember to subscribe. Obviously, leave a like. Comment down below your favorite part. I think he had a lot of amazing stories, and I really want to do part 2, but I want to do part 2 in a whole different country, just to prove that
Why don't we do part 2 after they ask all the questions they want to ask, make all the comments, so we can get an idea of what they really want to hear about
How
for a
about-
part 2.
How about
And then
this?
comment what country you want to go to.
Where do you want us to do part 2 at?
Dubai.
Hell yeah.
that would be sick.
Oh, sick.
And he's
That'd be
already
lit,
set
bro.
from Dubai,
Just
man.
do it on like a flipping helicopter
Dubai.
pad on a tall
Yeah.
building.
We should do it while skydiving.
Dubai in December.
I mean, you guys are laughing, but I'll do any of these.
No. I
That's
know you're
flipping
dead
dope,
ass.
dude.
I know we're not joking around. I'd actually be super down.
Let's take a helicopter to this restaurant that's elevated kind of in the sky. You can sit at a table, all of us, 500 feet in the air, and we can do a podcast there.
That would be so dope. That'd be so. I don't know how we would set everything up, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, so yeah, comment down below where you want us to see the next episode with my boy Jan, and we'll make sure to kind of make it happen for you. Again, thank you guys so much all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. All right, peace.